Let's understand what is database first. Why we need to go for database? What is SQL? Why we need to go for SQL? Let's start from the scratch carefully. Let's start from the very basics. And before we start, I'm Sai Fanindra from SQL School. I'm the founder and the caretaker. And I love my subject, okay? You'll see my love in every example. I mean, I am cautious. Make sure we practice on time every day. So I'm pretty sure you will remind about your school English teacher. I'm sure you will remind yourself about your school English teacher. Very cautious, right? Hope you remember our school days. English teachers, very, very cautious. They are not strict, they are cautious for our sake. I thank my teacher always. Let's get started now. Let's understand slowly, step by step, what is database, what is SQL, why we need to go for it. Let's dive into the things carefully. And we have been working with multiple MNCs across the globe. And I assure you complete step-by-step activities. Let's understand into the game database, what it is. A platform to store any type of data, any amount of data, no restrictions. What is that? A platform to store any type of data, any amount of data. You may ask me, Sai, why we are going for database? Why don't we store data in Notepad, Excel, PDF? That should be our next question. Why don't we store there? Why we are going for database? Simple reason. For example, you try to store your passwords in Excel. I can see. You store Excel, you store some username passwords in Excel. I can see it, right? Other example. Assume you have an Excel file with 10 sheets. You need to provide access to only one particular sheet for your colleague. Few specific sheets, sheet 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, odd number sheets to another colleague. So you are the lead, you are the manager, you need to provide access only to few sheets to one person, few other sheets to another person, or few rows to one colleague, few other rows to another colleague, your team member. It's not possible there. So database is a platform that is more secured. We say robust. What is that? We call it as robust. Yes, more secured. We call it as ROBST, robust. We call means very big, very big. Huge volumes of data can be stored. Secured volumes of data can be stored. Any type of data can be stored, right from our passwords to barcodes. Passwords to barcodes, QR codes, anything, everything. Database is there. I'll provide you the complete notes anyway. Let's stay tuned carefully. Well, but good to have our keywords if in case you have some observation book with you. In case if not, get it from your nearby desk and write some observation here carefully. Just the keywords, the bold keywords should be fine, just to make it clear. So database, a platform to store any type of data, any amount of data, fully secured, robust, and very beautiful item here. Unlike Excel, easier than Excel, very, very easy and super fast. Trust me, learning database is easier than Excel for me. I'm talking about my feeling. DBMS. Now, to operate on Excel, we need a software like MS Office, something like MS Office. To operate on database, we need to install one software today. In another 5-10 minutes, we'll start the installation. We need to install a software called SQL Server, a DBMS, database management system. What is the DBMS? It's a software to store, secure, manage databases. I repeat again, database. See, Excel needs MS Office. Same way, database needs a software called DBMS, Database Management System. Different companies came with different database platforms or different database technologies. IBM has DB2 and Oracle has Oracle, Sybase, Ingress, different companies, different technologies. One such great technology for beautiful database activities, colorful activities, SQL Server. Very easier, straightforward from Microsoft. Here it is. For example, you have mobiles, various mobile brands, and say for example, iPhone is one of them. It uses iOS. Samsung is another one. It uses Android. Same way, we have databases. One such brand, SQL Server. It uses a technology called MS SQL. So MS SQL is a technology to operate on SQL Server from Microsoft. iOS is a technology to operate on iPhone from Apple. Same way, you have other one called Oracle. Great technology, PLS. But one thing, we cannot compare these two all the time. Well, Android, iOS operations are similar. Purpose is same or similar. But the interface is bit different and the features are different. Same way here also, well, here it is. Same way here also, SQL Server, Oracle, two different brands from two different companies to operate on database. Well, basic level activities in our classes, we are going to learn this way. We are going to take step number 1. Of course, after installation, step number 1, we are going to learn SQL basics. We have about 50 examples. Then step number 2, we'll be learning. Step number 2, we'll be learning together MS SQL concepts and queries, about 350 examples. I'll show you these items in next few minutes. So what we are learning here, yes, the purpose of database to store any type of data. Purpose of database, to make it clear, here it is, to store any type of data, and at the same time to store any amount of data. Yes, robust means store big data, easier, at the same time faster. And just like Excel needs MS Office, here database needs what is that? DBMS, Database Management System. It's a software. Now implementation, the technical implementation. Here it is. One more thing, different companies came with different database systems, different DBMS in the market. Like for example, Microsoft came with SQL Server. Now same way we have other database management systems like SQL Server, Sybase, Oracle, Ingress, Postgres, etc. Now how to implement these databases? Here it is. Just like mobile brand, Apple phones or iPhone, Apple company iPhone, Here database brand Microsoft company SQL Server product. To operate on iPhone we need iOS. Same way to operate on SQL Server we need MS SQL. Now let's learn the basics of SQL first. Let's understand the fundamentals. What is what? 50 queries we call queries. Then we need to slowly step into MS SQL. This would be our line of action. Onto our screen now. Here are the concepts we are going to learn. Introduction today. We'll start with introduction technically step by step today. Then next we are going to have installation. After installation, I said 50 examples on SQL basics across 2 chapters. We are going to learn the very basics of SQL called DDL, DML, etc. For about 50 examples, the queries would be looking like this. It's all about number game. After we get into the queries, you'll be given some task items. Once we complete SQL foundation, then we are ready for Microsoft SQL Server TSQL, also called MS SQL. From there we have again another number game, like good amount of queries step by step. It's all about what, how. It's all about how-tos. We'll do it in a very slow but meaningful phase. Good number of concepts, good number of keywords, understanding what is what, why, how, when, where. In our classes, we'll talk about something called RDBMS, a type of database management system. Just like phones have smartphones, our DBMS have something called RDBMS, an extended feature with more beauty, more options. We are going to learn RDBMS concepts for the rest of the course from item number 7. There are total 25 items. In this SQL and MS SQL foundation course, there are 25 items we need to learn slowly. We have something called constraints, indexes, joins with various scenarios like online reservation scenario, e-commerce scenarios, etc. And then slowly understanding why we are learning, what we are doing, and where we need to go next in a simple way. We'll be understanding about something called Excel analytics. If anyone looking for data analysis, then the actual background operations will do here before you step into data analysis with Excel, Power BI, Python, etc. We have something called database objects. Just like our body has multiple organs, database also has multiple parts. They work together. So database is not a magic component, it's a practical component. So we need to touch every part of the database objects like views, procedures, functions, synonym, and data types, user defined types, triggers, and something called as sequences, etc. Understand various data types, cursors, common table expressions, normal forms, temporary tables, transactions, so on. Understand various real-world activities and issues like query blocking problems and the solutions. The query blocking issues and useful solutions for our day-to-day work. Detailed architecture activities, cascading keys, and so on we are going to learn. So this foundation course will be useful for The participants who are planning for either SQL Developer next level is a foundation. From there, the journey becomes useful and easy. Developers, separate set of classes we have. On top of this, queries, the foundation item, planned for 3 weeks. But no problem, I'll not waste your time. We'll go straight into the game, slowly, step by step, revising every concept and adding new items. It's completely into practice zone. This is the only PPT for our entire course. So we have SQL Developer, separate set of extra classes if you are looking for them. Data engineers, separate set of classes. Data analysts, again separate course. And data science, separate set of courses at 9 months journey. 9 months apart from the foundation. We need to learn like a main course, right? Like a restaurant course, not a fast food center. So we need it slowly, step by step. The foundation is important in a meaningful way. Now, before we learn what we are going to understand in the foundation course, the SQL concepts, let's understand why we have those items here. We have various job roles. Why? Let's go back to our previous slide. Purpose of those job roles. Let's understand. Very recently, I had some small trouble with my car. So I happened to get it to the garage. There I have seen different departments. One department taking care of front end service. Other department taking care of only electronics and electrical part of the car. And one more department, only the software part of this car. Only the software. Only they know how to update the software in the electronic circuit, etc. And one more department, finance and billing. And one more department, delivery and other activities. I mean, every project in real world has different departments. To get into those departments, we should know types of databases. Any project has developers, testers, administrators in olden days. Now, for last 10 to 15 years, things are changing very rapidly. Now you have data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, ML, machine learning engineers separately, AI engineers. Very recently, many projects implemented AI engineers team separately now. It's all because of something called BI. What is that? Business intelligence. I repeat again, in olden days, we used to have only developers, administrators. Later came testers. Later came automation testing activities called Selenium. And then came data science. So came data engineers. There is a history actually here. To understand it slowly for next 3 to 5 minutes, let's understand the type of databases. There are 2 basic types of databases, very simple and straight. One database type to store live real-time data. Live real-time data, like for example, a live cricket match or live temperature, live stock market operations. The live data will be stored in OLTP databases, online transaction processing databases. We are going to install this OLTP component in our next very next session. I repeat again, we have something called OLTP. What is OLTP? Let's observe carefully. Live online transaction processing database. Live online transaction processing database. It's mainly for the purpose of OLTP. Remember, online transaction processing database, just like a live cricket match. Now, assume a cricket match is going on. Suddenly, weather changes. What we see? chances to win, chances to lose, expected run rate, required run rate. Those calculations are from data warehouse. Remember, observe carefully. Continue. Data warehouse. A database, special type of database to store historical data, old inactive data. Why? Past references, future forecast. Without old data, we cannot expect reports in a cricket match. Without old temperature data, we cannot expect weather forecast or stock market analysis. Anything which is into old history, we call it as a warehouse. Next, from here comes something called BI model, business intelligence model we call. What is that? Live OLTP data. Assume for example, we have live temperature every day news in our childhood. Not now. Now no more news, only YouTube, right? In our childhood, we used to have even now also we have news. At the end of the news, we will be having that news reader giving weather forecast, today's live temperature and forecast, right? So how the temperature is actually taken here from various satellites, from various OLTP live data, the actual tools will be involved to capture all temperature data from various sources, store it in a warehouse, and from there comes analysis, reporting, mining. Mining is mainly for forecast. Data mining we call. Dig the hidden trends of our data. Another example. Assume for example a live cricket match, a World Cup match. Various matches, various places, everything consolidated using the tools and then store it at what particular place. From there comes analysis, reporting and mining activities. From here comes one particular job role called data engineer. ETL, extract, transform, load and warehouse. One more job role, report developer and data analyst. In olden days, we used to have only report developer because data is ready-made, directly report it. Now, we need to cook our own data and report. That is nothing but data analyst. In olden days, we used to have report developers, something called MSBI, SSRS, IBM Cognos, SAP BW, Oracle BI, etc. Now came the job role data analyst. They involve in reporting, but they also involve in formatting the data by themselves. It's like we need to cook our own reports and serve it to the customer now. Things are changing a lot. So data engineer middle box, data analyst Power BI, BI developer Power BI plus SQL Server analysis services and data engineering together, and data scientists, data mining activities, mine the data. Remember, I mean, it's all about data. It's all about data. Remember that. Now, from here comes our actual course, SQL. So we are going to start with SQL first, database fundamentals in SQL first, then step into SQL, transact SQL queries. Then you will step into your next level activity as per your resume. So in that yellow box, you have two types of database, I said, right? OLTP, data warehouse. Let's understand a simple way now. SQL Server is our house. Our house as hall or living room or waiting room, whatever we call, and a storeroom, right? Hall is OLTP, storeroom is a data warehouse. That's it. In all, we are looking for more into appearance, easy organization, easy access, pleasant. I'm not talking before marriage, okay, after marriage, right? More nice, recently married and newly built home, assume. So more ambience is involved. There comes certain rules called normal forms, OLTP. So there are some rules using which we need to construct the OLTP database. Same way, data warehouse is all about like a storeroom. My things will touch the roof. It's all about stacking the things in the storeroom carefully. Less space, more content. There are certain rules in warehouse called data models, star, Snowflake, schemas we call. I mean, there are certain technical rules using which we do OLTP. Remember, what is that again? We are talking about types of databases, basic types of databases. We have other types as well, basic types OLTP to store live real-time data. Like for example, live temperature. Yes, same way, and rules are governed by the design rules. I'll say here, design rules are governed by something called normal forms, part of our classes. Then we have something called data warehouse to store old, historical, at the same time inactive data. Example, old temperature data in something called data lake, delta lake, lake house. Three great technologies. I understand we are hearing for the first time. We have separate concepts again for them, data engineering and big data. But without data lake or delta lake or a lake house, there is no AI, no data science. Any AI or any machine learning or data needs data, right? From there, from where? From warehouse. Remember, without warehouse, no future for us. No future for data, not for us, for data. Next, design rules. Design rules are governed by something called star, Snowflake schemas. Very recently, many companies approved additional architectures called medallion architectures. I understand I'm including some new terms, but let's make it simple and straight. What is that we are learning? We're understanding something called basic types of databases, OLTP, data warehouse databases. So I said this arrow mark, right? Let me show you this item now in a technical format on my screen, just to get some idea. I'll take you to this particular website for end-to-end industrial project implementation. Yes, on my screen now. At the end of the day, reporting, Power BI. This is the warehouse. And I said ETL. All these come under ETL. Okay, ETL tools. This is data warehouse. And this is something called report. And this is our SQL database source. So any kind of source will be given through ETL. From there we get the warehouse concepts. If in case, for example, if you are into our Power BI, Power BI is a great reporting platform that has 8 design tools plus 2 technologies. And there what we are going to do, it's all about reporting. For example, a database can be used as a source for reporting activities. That is data analyst job role. Same way, we have something called data engineer job role. I just said something called live temperatures, right? That is what we are going to practically do in data engineering course. Live temperatures to additional ETL, etc. to warehouse and Power BI, end-to-end implementations, followed by task items. What we are learning now? We are understanding slowly two basic types of databases. OLTP, the birthplace of data, data warehouse, and the storage of your data, the actual house of your data. Now, where do we start with? We need to start with the green box first, installation. Once we do installation, we'll continue for our next step. It may be a data analyst job role, or it may be data engineer job role, any of them. You may also go for something called developer job role. It's up to you. But everyone, we need SQL. We'll start SQL to talk to databases after 2 classes from now. We'll start with SQL. We'll go for SQL one by one after installation in detail. And any questions, let me know. Glad to assist you. And here are the concepts from our SQL fundamentals. For the fundamental course, I understand the length, actual concept a bit lengthy. We need it so that we are ready for our actual classes. Any further questions, let me know, please. We'll stop for now. And here is the synopsis to make it clear on my screen now. Any questions, please let me know. We'll stop. Yes, please. Any questions? I'll wait.